And we are live. Hi, everybody. This is Tracy, and this is Mike. We're doing a live podcast here where I'm very happy to have Mike here as my special guest, as a first time having a guest on here. We're kind of kicking the tires around here, trying to figure out how everything works. And Mike has so graciously agreed to come on here and talk with us today. Um, what we're doing, I have the business, the Rafa Maya LLC, and it's a beverage that is derived through antiquity. And I love that, Mike, that you're my first guest here today because, quite frankly, you are the one who got me into this mess.
You're welcome.
I very happily blame you. So, yeah, so it's a lot of fun here. So, and so just to catch up, because we haven't seen each other in a long time, in
Right.
person. I know I've got some beverage I'm going to be bringing up to you.
Yep.
And yeah, you really do need that. So, but you are looking awesome there.
Thank
I
you. I
mean,
appreciate that.
you look
But,
fantastic.
filters can do a world of wonder.
Oh, you got filters on?
No,
Oh,
no, I don't. I do. I do on my Zoom, but not on this.
ah, gotcha. Oh, you do a lot of Zoom. Oh, so you're kind of used to the video thing, huh?
Yeah, I did for about 2 years. I did Zoom meetings, and frankly, I'm zoomed out. But it,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, did you have to do that for your work during the
yeah,
COVID time?
yeah. I taught all of my drug classes and everything. I taught. I was a drug intervention and
Yeah, I
prevention
know that.
specialist, and so we did all of our classes online, and it was okay, but I much prefer to be face to face for stuff like that. But for podcasts, and I helped create our YouTube channel for that prevention company as well, and so I've been doing podcasts and things, right along, which have been a lot of fun. I enjoy this kind of thing.
Oh, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you are going to be my regular guest then. Well, you can be my official co-host for every podcast. You're welcome. And
There you go.
we will then we'll have other guests on with us. You can invite someone too and come on and talk. Well, what's important is for people to get online and talk about nutrition.
Hmm.
And it's a big deal right now. There's a lot going on with the food industry
Hmm.
and things like that. I've seen a bunch of things that, I don't want to get political and I'm not getting religious in here too much, but just talking to them in general about, nutrition is a big deal. And
It is.
fruit, which is the basis of all of the beverages that we're
Hmm.
making here, it's a big deal. And,
Yeah,
you know, I,
and part of the problem is we've all seen the commercials for certain products online that talk about, fruit and vegetables being the basis of a healthy diet, and that's true. The problem is that with commercial farming now, um, a lot of the nutrients have been depleted out of the soil. So when we're eating an orange, we're getting less vitamin C than we did 30 years ago. And so supplementation of those nutrients is very important. And that's where the beverage comes in.
yes, yeah, exactly. And what I learned, because this recipe just came up, the first one, and
Hmm.
then I knew it was really good, but I didn't understand why. And now, so for 7 years, I've been working every single day, minuscule by minuscule moments, right? To get to a point where I'm able to, full commercial kitchen, everything. And then I filed for the patent and I had to dive into, the minutia of it all. And I learned why is it so why is it so good?
Right.
And then I was talking to my daughter and I said, I probably, if I'm going to do things and talk about it and everything, maybe I should need a title of some sorts, so people think I know what I'm talking about. And then I saw that Cornell University came up and I did that. So I certified in there. And I
Hmm.
had during the class, I'll tell you, Mike, I'm very glad I filed the patent before I took the class because they could have sued me for plagiarism. Everything, yeah, everything I was doing, I learned they have a field called medical culinary.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the things that they were saying and teaching in that Cornell, certification course that I did, um, it not only a lot of the recipes I have will not only help certain health conditions, it
Mm-hmm.
can reverse certain ones.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to give you a lot of detail, of everything I've learned. And I've just learned this in the past 6 months, and I've been working on this. We're in year 8 now.
Right.
8.
Yeah.
8 years.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, I know.
I remember that first conversation, and it doesn't seem like 8 years ago, but
I know, right?
but
A lot of hard work, though. A lot of hard work.
yeah.
FDA registered, the department, the inspections, everything, labeling, yeah, everything.
Yeah.
So what happened is, and I think it was November, December, just recently, and I was going to go another route to get investors in and stuff, and I just don't want to give any equity away. I mean, the sweat equity alone. I actually did out a list. I think posted on Facebook somewhere, and just the sweat equity I put into this is just beyond. And how do you just hand that over for a couple of dollars? You
Yeah.
don't. So, but in that time frame, I went in and I was looking into something, and I learned that I can also take the other half of the beverage when I make it, right? Because there's a liquid form, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a solid, right? That comes from that. That's just as good. And it had pained me to toss that away
Mm-hmm.
when I would do, the samples and everything else. So the last time I had made a sample batch, I put it in because I had a private tasting back in April.
Mm-hmm.
And I had put it in the freezer. I'm like, I just can't throw it away anymore. And then I realized why. And so I had I stumbled into something just as amazing as the beverage itself. And so what I call them dragon wafers, and they're little heart-shaped wafers. They are so nutritious. Like if you have celiac disease, you can eat these and they're good for you.
Mm-hmm.
So the beverage combined with the baked goods, right, which the filling is part of the other half of the beverage. So I'm throwing nothing away.
That's
Yeah,
excellent.
it tastes so good. I had someone come over and I said, "You got to taste this and tell me what you think," right? He came over, sat down, took one bite. He goes, "Tastes like chocolate." I said, "Chocolate? There's not a drop of chocolate in this. This is like one of the healthiest things." So, I mean, if you like, a lot of people get things. I know I watch a lot of Shark Tank too over the years.
Mhm.
And I've seen like, they come in there and they do that. They bring the food in and do the taste testing and stuff. And they go, "Oh my God, it's awful." I saw one last night that goes, "Oh, these pancakes are so dry. What are you, gluten-free, whatever." The first dragon wafer recipe I have out there, it's gluten-free, it's kosher. I mean, it's everything across the board. And it's
Mhm.
one of the healthiest things. So I'm excited to I'm waiting on the packaging to be able to fully, get that out there so I can ship that. And
Great.
once we do that, we're going to have the beverage and the dragon wafers. So we had starting with 2. And do you remember how many original recipes are there? Do you remember?
Oh, was it 7?
5.
5. Okay. I
Yeah.
almost said 5, but I
I
was trying to give
know.
you,
Pick a magic number. Yeah, I know. Um,
7's lucky, so why not?
yeah. So what I did is after before I was filing the patent, I went through and I had a reason in December. I had a personal health issue too.
Mhm.
And I was researching online because I'm not a big fan personally. I'm not a fan of fruit. I mean, I'm constantly like, why did you,
Mhm.
why me? Why fruit? So, but I had a health issue. So I was online and I was Googling up, okay, well, what do I need? Because I need to fix this. I had some gut issues. I had some
Mhm.
whatever. And everything I found out was this, and that. And I said, everything I found was in that first beverage. And that's the Alex's Mana that's on there.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the chair and I just looked down. I said, I have some sitting in the refrigerator in the kitchen. I mean, like, why am I not drinking this? So I did, and I recovered like completely. Like that, it actually, I can personally attest to the fact that it sustained life for 2 months. until, you know what I'm saying? And recovered from that. So, I mean, just fruit in of itself is so healthy for you. And everything is natural. There's nothing in any of the um, products that are nothing artificial. Everything is fully natural. It's shelf stable. So I'm excited. We're going to do some taste testing. You want to do some live taste testing? You can do it right here on the broadcast. You can have someone to
There
come
we
over
go.
to your house and visit, and it's amazing to see people's reaction to it and how it tastes because
Mhm.
no one can identify the flavor.
Yeah.
And I discovered that by accident. People are saying, "Oh, it tastes like grape jelly."
Yeah.
I know the sample I sent to you, it was in a pimento jar or something. You go, "Oh, it
Yeah.
tastes like
Well,
pimentos." I'm like, "Well, that's the container." So, um, but yeah, it has a lot of fiber, a lot of stuff like that, and it's good for you. You
mhm.
know, it's good for your digestive tract and things like that. And so it's not like a lifestyle change. It's just something. Add this into your diet, you know, and
Yep.
see what happens.
Yeah.
So
And the thing is that these ingredients have been being used for millennia, and were written about thousands of years ago, and we like to think of ourselves as so far advanced, but if we would go back into antiquity and see what God gave us,
mhm.
I will get a little religious.
You are allowed to.
But
Absolutely.
see some of what God told us to eat.
Yeah.
We know now that those things are healthy and that we should be going. They're one of my favorite breads, although I don't buy it because it costs about $700 a loaf. Not quite, but it's but it is so healthy for you. All of the ingredients are found in the book of Ezekiel, actually in a recipe.
Is
Um,
that the Ezekiel bread?
yes,
Yes.
yep.
I talk about that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not real great for sandwiches, I don't think. But it makes the most wonderful toast, and it is so good for you. And it comes straight out of the Bible. And
Yeah.
if we would listen to those that know more than we do, we might be a little bit better off.
Mhm. Yeah. You know, a side effect when I drank the beverage for 2 months. I drank the whole batch, right? Every day I had one. And a lot of the ingredients say, I learned in the Cornell
Hmm.
and when I filed for the patent that some of them are actually considered in mainstream like anti-aging and stuff like this, right? So I'm learning all these things. I'm like, I don't make any medical claims. I mean, I just by accident fall into, right? Is that how I'd say it?
Yeah.
Fall into this medical culinary field that is out there and so unique, right? So it's patentable
Hmm.
and anti-aging properties. Now, what I noticed, no, see, I'm either color or curls on the hair.
Hmm.
I don't know. We keep it real. Um, but I've never colored because I love the curl. I lost all the gray. All my natural color came back. And then a friend of mine who he's 90 years old, and I gave him some. He was feeling a little out of it and stuff like that. And I gave him some. He drank it for a week and he started to get his natural color back. 90 years old.
Hmm.
He's been gray forever, right? Well, I don't know if it's going to grow your hair. like but also what I learned, and this is important. In one of the recipes, they actually did a COVID study. So I'm going to circle back to that. And when I launch that one, that's going to be a big deal, Mike, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of long-term COVID effects
Yes.
that are out there. And so I'm curious to find out if this is going to be helpful,
Yeah.
that particular recipe. So, because, we started with the original five,
Hmm.
and then I personally developed another 25 plus recipes. So I have like 30 recipes I'll be rolling out one at a time, to
Yeah.
get them out there. And then with the baked goods, I have 10 recipes established for that. And
Good.
they're all so healthy. Yeah. So given that there's at least 30 recipes for the beverages, and 10 on the baked goods. That's like
Mhm.
over 300 plus product line,
Yeah.
because you split the half of the beverage that I make, and that goes into the baked goods 10 times each, right? So,
Right.
um, so and it's really good because it's good to be able to mix it up too. You don't want to have the same fruit all the time. You want to
Right.
mix it up with different ones. But what I learned, I mean, I'm just so overwhelmed by what I've learned just in the past 6 months about this, because I have just been like blood sweat, right, to get this to where it is,
Yeah.
just blindly, just by true faith, and not really knowing the back. I just like, I know it's good for you, and people say, well, what does it do for you? And I'm like, okay, well, God said so isn't good enough for you. Okay, well, let
Right.
me go, let me go take a look.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I learned the better details of it, and I can talk about that, as each individual product will come out. So, but the main thing in every single product is mulberry.
Yeah.
That's everything that's in there. And in reviewing all of the patentable items, one of the questions when you file for a patent is there anything in your field? Well, no. And if it's used in another field, then that's beneficial to
Mhm.
you because you're cross field, right? And
Right.
it's all used. I cited medical, 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 medical. Yeah, right down the line. I mean, just samples. Like, it's
Mhm.
just amazing. So, um, I filed the patent for the process, which includes, ingredients and things like that. But I also have what accidentally was developed is a novel pasteurization
Mhm.
process that I'm going to keep as a trade secret. I don't want to file patent on that because then everybody will, right? Everybody will
Right.
know. And it's internal. So I'm going to keep that as a trade secret. And it really is what seals the deal on this,
Mhm.
because a lot of the processing that everyone uses depletes a lot of the nutrients and
Yeah.
the vitamins and the minerals, and that's
Deactivates them, or yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
This is like as close to fresh fruit picked off a tree, and it's a lot of it is stuff you can't get in the grocery store.
No. No, I'd challenge anyone to find mulberry anywhere in the, except a specialty market in a big city. It's about the only
Yeah.
place you're gonna find mulberry or grow it yourself.
The only thing I've seen is like a bunch of like mulberry bits dried in like trail mix or like
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mixed in with M&Ms. So
what's that?
yeah, trail mix mixed in with M&Ms that negates all the health that you
Yeah,
get.
right, right. With all the kids. No, I'm not opposed to M&Ms because, like I said, I'm real. I eat anything. I eat
Yeah.
chocolate. I'm a beef lover. I like my meat. I
I got
just
my
not a
coffee. So
yes, exactly. I live on my coffee. Yeah, I'm not living without the coffee.
yeah.
So so if anybody is out there and you're watching the podcast here, if you have any questions or comments and just want to say hi, pop in, post a comment down below on the podcast here, and be sure and like our page. You can share this podcast with your friends and everything. We're going to be talking more in depth about the specifics of the ingredients. Mike is an expert on this. I mean, you probably knew everything about the ingredients that I just learned.
I don't know
And
about that, but having been a biblical researcher, and very into natural health, complementary medicine, I believe we have to have both. Um, you know, you're not going to fix a broken arm with
no,
herbs. You can help the bone heal with herbs, but you're not going to fix the broken arm.
actually,
Um,
yes, that's true. I did learn that about one of the recipes,
yeah,
that it
that's
does.
cool.
Yeah, it helps the cells to get over there for bone strength.
Yeah.
So if you have, like, let's say osteoporosis
Hmm.
and things like that, that fruits can help
Yeah.
alleviate some of that. Yeah.
Absolutely, and they can also provide nutrition that then allows, for instance, one of the things that you learn if you study nutrition is that certain minerals need certain other nutrients in order to get into your system to be able to work.
Bingo.
Otherwise, it just floats around and doesn't do any good. It's kind of like me. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I need insulin to get glucose into my cells. Otherwise, it's just floating around in my bloodstream, damaging everything.
Exactly.
Had I known this a long time ago, I wouldn't have all of, well, I knew it, but I wasn't a good boy, and I didn't follow the protocols that I should have followed. And as a result, I've damaged my nerves. My feet are numb. I have autonomic neuropathy, which means that the things that you don't have to think about, like breathing and your heartbeat, the nerves that handle those are damaged. And so I'm at higher risk for heart attack and stroke and all kinds of bad.
I learned a lot about that. I mean, I come from a financial background, actuarial, right? So, I mean, we did things, insurance is insurance. You talk about death, mortality, and that stuff, but not the bitter details, right?
Right.
Not on the medicinal side. So I learned so much just from the patent and the Cornell certification, and a lot of it was those high risk factors that like tons of people were talking about that, and just exactly what you're saying is I learned about the glucose. So when I post on the website and I release each product, the GI index is right there. I have that specifically attached to every single one, and every single product is within the low category. I mean, it's right there. It was a big concern of mine, because once I learned that this is an issue, like some of the ingredients not only help if you have like type 2 diabetes. I don't know about the type 1, but it was all about type 2, because it's I know the difference, but I'm not going to, jumble it here. But and the type 2, it not only can alleviate that, it can reverse. And that comes from Cornell University. I was amazed by that, Mike. I didn't know that all of this was going to happen.
Yeah, type 2 is a preventable, all of the damage done by type 2. And one of the big problems with type 2, unlike type 1, which I am, the symptoms come on pretty quickly, and, your pancreas basically isn't doing its job. So I have to take injections, or in my case, an insulin pump with insulin. Whereas type 2, it's more of a slow process. And so a lot of damage is already done to your body before you even know you have it, because a lot of the symptomology is silent. The nerve damage, the kidney damage, the things going on in the eyes, all of that is just silent. And it's exacerbated by obesity and smoking and heavy drinking and all of those things, which a lot of Americans are involved with. And so you get this snowball effect, and then all of a sudden you just get blindsided by this giant boulder that has just run you over. And a lot of the irreversible damage is done. Kidney disease. I did a lot of damage. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I learned at Cornell, though, some things are reversible, though.
Yeah.
To whereas they had, medical culinary is a thing. I mean, I'm elbow to elbow with all of these people, and they're out there, and they're doctors, they're dietitians, they're nutrition that I'll have on the show, and hopefully you're going to come on and you're going to talk to them with me.
Right.
Because I'm learning the language. You know a lot more than I do and stuff. Because like I said, I'm just learning about my own product here. Like, why have I been doing this? And, like, the sweat equity, there's blood dripping from the forehead, to get this out there. And, but to have them come on and talk about it, because, they talk in lifestyle change. And I learned a lot about, a lot of people talk about plant-based nutrition, and they just want to cut out meat completely. But John Campbell, who runs this program through Cornell University, he talked a lot about the protein. And protein is a huge issue, huge, because when you get protein from a plant, your body doesn't digest it the same as it does from animal protein. Okay. So like you're saying, sometimes you get stuff in there and it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing the way you think. You need that other you need that other ingredient, that vitamin or that mineral or the amino acid or something in there to make that protein do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't know what to do. It's a different type of structure. So it's the combination and stuff like that. So what we can
Well,
do is get things out there and talk to people about that too.
yeah, and
Yeah,
a lot of these products are unabsorbable by your body. Um,
exactly.
they, for instance, vitamin B12. If you're taking a vitamin pill, most of the vitamin B12 is cyanocobalamin. Well, it's cobalamin mixed with cyanide, and
Yes,
that's
I read that. Yep.
the preferred version is methylcobalamin. So if somebody is intent on taking vitamin pills, look for B12 that is methylcobalamin. That's the best way. But the more absorbable type of product is liquid. It's 95%. I don't know about the Rafamaya beverage, but most of the liquid nutritional products out there are about 95% absorbable by your body.
Mhm.
Whereas, a lot of the grocery store or drugstore vitamin tablets go through your entire digestive system undissolved. So
Yes,
you've done nothing for yourself. And if they do dissolve in your body, they're probably not dissolving in the right places in your body. There's
yeah.
certain nutrients that need to be absorbed in the upper gut. Some need to be absorbed in the lower gut. And
Mhm.
so the liquid kind of helps do all of that because that's a natural way. When you eat an orange, it's absorbed in the right place in your body. When you eat
And
an
and
apple,
and going off to do the right things, like they march off.
right,
There's certain things in an orange that are gonna march off to your kidney or your pancreas or you know, your
right,
liver. Your
exactly.
liver. Yeah.
And it's not enough just to extract vitamin C and take
Yeah.
it because there are so many other factors in an orange that we don't even know about. I mean, there
Ex
are tens
I
of
saw that there
thousands.
is almost 0 research
Yeah,
on a lot of these things.
no,
0. Um, the ones that they have done, though, are amazing.
yeah, absolutely.
I can say, and I'll be putting that up on the website too. It's just so involved. I mean, it's just amazing. Like I said, the list of, health benefits is like this long in
Right,
baby tiny print. Um, just because of the amino acids, the vitamins, the minerals, and what does it do? And there's natural plant compounds
hmm,
in there that they don't even know. And a lot of the research, especially through Cornell, they'll say you need funding. You need funding to do the research, and really, no one's been all that interested in fruit. We're
right.
sending
You
man.
can't patent
We got
fruit.
yeah, stuff going up into space where we're more concerned about than,
Right.
you know, looking at fruit. So, they're doing a lot of that, but a lot of it is was the funding for the studies and stuff like that. But of what I do have, like I said, I make 0 claims about any of the products. 0 claims. The only claim and in my patent, it we promote a healthy life. And
Yep.
that's it. I mean, I make no promises, no guarantees, anything, but I'm going to tell you what the ingredients are, folks, right? And we're going to talk about what the ingredients are, what they're going to do for you. There is absolutely proven science out there in the
Hmm.
NIH, and so I'll be linking that on the website for each ingredient. And this is going to do this for you. This will do that for you. There's actually what I learned because you have to put allergy warnings and things like that on your nutrition label, right? Um, that some of the ingredients are used so much in the medical realm, right?
Hmm.
So, if you have a certain disease or something, do not drink this. So I have to actually put a medical warning, right? Because it will interfere with and a lot of people taking high blood pressure,
Yep.
you do have to go consult with your doctor and see before you take this in volume because it's
Right.
going to lower, right? It's going to lower your blood pressure
Yep.
naturally to whereas you're taking medication and paying all this crazy stuff, right, for everything, and this is the natural way to do it. So you
Right.
have to do that in concert with your doctor because it's gonna naturally, um, fix that for you.
Yeah, we always say consult with your doctor because there are, for instance, eating grapefruit's very healthy. But if you're on certain heart
However,
medication, yeah, there's an enzyme in there that stops your body prefers the natural enzyme. And so
Mhm.
therefore the high blood pressure medication will build up in your bloodstream to dangerous levels. And so
Exactly.
yeah, that's why that, people always look at their meds and go, don't eat grapefruit. What the heck? You know, me, I'm okay. I take high blood pressure medicine, but I can't stand grapefruit. So it's fine.
So
But
you don't have to worry about that cross contamination.
yeah, I don't drink grapefruit
Yeah.
juice or anything, so we're fine. But yeah, those are the things that people don't understand because we don't, this is I call it, I gave a speech one time called the microwave society. And we want everything instantly. When you and I grew up together, I mean, that's one thing people probably don't know about us is that we went to school together and
High
all of that
school.
sort of thing. And
Oh,
even
we
though
sure
she
did.
looks way younger than I do, but the
Oh, you are way. It must
you're
be the lighting because no.
you're lucky. You're younger than me, though, right?
No, maybe a year. Maybe a
You-
year. I class of 83, me.
Yeah, I was 82. So yeah, so
Yeah.
we're a year apart. But
Yeah.
anyways, now that everyone knows how old we are, but
Ouch.
I
I
I don't care.
did. I just dated myself.
You
Hey,
did.
I'm old,
That's a good thing, and no gray, so you're good.
but wiser. Oh no, there's gray. There's gray. It's just it is the lighting.
Yeah,
Well, when you're not drinking the beverage, right? I drank it for 2 months, and all my gray was gone.
yeah,
I'm not, I mean, hands, um, and then I quit drinking the beverage, right? Because I drank it all up and I had to make more. Um, and the gray came back. I had a couple of stressful, things that popped up in the
right.
meantime. It's kind of whatever. So that probably caused the gray to come back. But if I start drinking again, and I'll do it live. I'm going to start drinking the beverage again and show you guys.
Yep.
And I have a friend of mine. He'll be watching the podcast later. I'm trying to get tons of people, Mike, are going to be coming on here. So this is going to be a lot of fun. You remember Andrew Duke?
Yeah.
Yep, she's gonna come on. She does a lot of yoga and stuff like that. She agreed to come on. So yay, Andy, giving you a shout out there.
That woman gets in some poses for, and she again is, around our age group. And I see the stuff on Facebook, the poses she gets herself in. I'm like, I couldn't even fake that, let alone do it for real. She's
Who would
unbelievable.
oh, I know, she's amazing. She lives right out by someone who is very special and near and dear to my heart, and I'm hoping to get on the podcast here. She's like, "Ah, mom," but hopefully I'm trying to talk her into next week. You gotta come on. You gotta come on. You gotta come on. So I
Yeah.
did I did a test run with her just to see, like, can I just text you the link and can you get on your phone? And she was able to do that. So that was fun. So she was like humoring mom. You're my mom, I'll test it with you. You know how kids are. I
Well, yeah.
love you, hon. She'll look at this later and she'll go, Mom, what are you doing? So, moms have certain privileges.
Yes, absolutely. I've never put my children on my podcast because they would just as soon cover themselves in cow manure than go on live. And since I live on a farm, that's a real possibility. So as you'll find out when we meet together.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but when
Yeah.
I was talking about when we were kids, we ate a healthier diet back then.
Yeah, we did.
We all sat down around the kitchen table and had dinner I mean, there's certain exceptions. Some families didn't do that. Some, like my mother was a stay-at-home mom. And so when my dad got home from his law office, we had dinner around the kitchen table. We talked about what went on at school and that sort of thing. And I think that makes for a healthier, and I'm guilty now of sitting in my lazy boy eating dinner instead of,
Oh,
my wife and I'll sit in our lazy boys
TV
and
trays. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And we're kind of addicted to a program on Peacock called Yellowstone that we're
Oh, I've
sort
heard
of
of that. Yep.
we're binge watching at the moment. And so we do that. It's not a healthy lifestyle.
Do you
And
know
we live on a
and
farm. You'd think we'd know better.
To that point, you know what I realized as far as your gut health? Because
Hmm.
the gut health is like a big deal to me right now because it led into the whole dragon wafers. I don't know. I picked dragon wafers. I thought it was fun. Um,
Yeah.
oh, the advertising I have coming up for the dragon wafers. It's a ton of fun. So by the way, um, but your
Yeah.
posture. And it's funny because back in my philosophy course, in I did 3 years expository writing in college, right?
Hmm.
So, and there's certain things we would write about, and I wrote about a chair, right? And so, and it's just one of those things that like stick with you, and you don't know why, right? So I'm sitting there and I was like, well, part of my digestive health is I'm slouching when I'm
Yeah.
in the chair and I'm eating like this. And
Hmm.
I looked down one day and I said, why am I curving all of my stuff, right? I mean, my spinal cord, my everything, right? So I go back to I got a TV in the kitchen. I'll just go sit at the table, right? Put the TV on there, and I said, I'm gonna eat officially at the table. And I digested my food better.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally did make a difference, the
Yeah.
posture. And so I look at a lot of these. I'm gonna pull my cell phone on here. I'm not gonna turn it on, but you know how they're like this.
Yep.
And I'm looking, and I started to notice the posture.
Hmm.
And what I learned in Cornell is that, well, they were talking about it as far as like GMOs and stuff like that and
Hmm.
the processing of food, which we'll get into that someday. But um, they were talking the fact that gut health and gut disease, that what is it? Is it the ABS or IBS?
IBS. IBS.
Irritable and things like that have been so extremely prominent for
Hmm.
the past 20 years. That's one of the leading issues because from that stems all these other things, right? So the first recipe beverage we have out there, the Alex's Mana, that fixes that. And there's a lot about there was another celebrity I know he was doing something. He was talking about leaky gut.
Hmm.
Do you know who I'm talking about? Because his name escapes me. So
I can't think of it either, but
yeah, yeah. I think he was one of those judges on the American Idol.
oh, yeah.
I know, right? I can't think of his. I have a photographic memory, Mike, except for
Yeah.
names. Like I could hear a song, I could sit down at the piano, play every note, sing every word. Ask me the title to the song or who recorded it. Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's me. So Dad said, don't ever go into politics because you have to remember people's names.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so there. But he did a thing, and he did a lot of research and study and stuff. Because when I was having gut issues back November, December, that's when I stumbled upon that. And
Hmm.
so, ironically, I ran into an ingredient for one of the recipes, and I said, that has definitely got to be in there. And it has a ton of the active ingredient he's saying he's putting in his little formula there, is naturally occurring in this particular ingredients there. Oh, I can't wait till you see everything.
Yeah.
You
Perfect.
you have no idea. Oh, Mike, I hope you just love everything on here and
Oh, I'm
approve.
sure I will. I'm sure I
So,
will.
it's just amazing. So, that what we do is like over time is just go over, as each product gets out there and
Hmm.
just talk in depth about like each of the ingredients and you just
Sure.
really break it down to the minutia. And so then the podcast will be out there and then we can just attach like, do you have questions about this, that, well, hey, we did back here. You can go back and see some of this and talk about it. But I also want to talk, if people want to come in and do a show in here and stuff, I have questions for people. Like I want
Hmm.
to know what do you know about fruit? Like my experience at fruit, right? I mean, growing up, right? You eat what you're given. You know, we go strawberry picking and it was a thing. We go blueberry
Hmm.
picking with mom and stuff like that. And that was always fun. But I mean, I never really understood about fruit or what it is. How is it different? And what's given. And then when I raised my daughter, I just like, okay, I'd test different ones because even if I didn't like them to see if she liked them because she had the right to like them, even if I didn't. And
Right.
she did. She liked a lot. So, um, but different things and people just have a liking. But I never thought, well, you have to have this or you have to have that. I mean, there was always applesauce in the house, right? So,
Hmm.
but actual fruits and stuff like that. Apple juice is given to kids all the time and stuff like that. That's
Yep.
apple. She used to call apple juice. um, but what's in it, right? And by the way, when I did my patent, right, and you have to look across the table. So let me tell you who I'm sitting at with the table, who has a patent next to me. You have Tropicana.
Mm-hmm.
So here's tiny little me that you went high school, right? Here's me.
Yep.
I don't even get this yet. I have Tropicana. I have Mott's, the applesauce.
Mm-hmm.
I have Welch's. I think they did one. I have the V8 juice. And who was the other one? There was another one. Oh, like a pomegranate.
Mm-hmm.
That ocean spray.
Ocean spray.
Ocean spray as a whole. So that's who I sit with at the table. I just kind of looked around and said, "All right, guys, I'm not using anything that you guys are doing. I'm unique from all of you guys." So there's no, because you're launching a new business and you say, "Well, who's the big guy going to come crush me?" Right? Because I'm just a little baby.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So I'm not interfering with anything in their field. A lot of their stuff has to be refrigerated. I'm shelf stable.
Mm-hmm.
Just a tiny little, because you don't need a lot. So,
Right.
Plus I went in depth and looked at their patents, and I saw some of the ingredients and some of their processes, and the process is really what's key.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have a novel pasteurization process, and the processing of the beverages as a whole is just so unique. It's just it does something amazing to it. And I don't, part of it, I know I want to explain it, but then I kind of don't. Right. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, because we're going to keep that secret. But it's just amazing. And it just does something to it. And you drink it and these things happen. And then I'm just like, yay. And then I learned the why.
Yep.
So when we do this and we'll go down the, and everything, Mulberry, 300 plus products. There is Mulberry in every single one.
Yep.
So, everything is in there. And so
I
this
know
is
you and I had discussed all kinds of different ingredients almost
yes.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
And there were
I actually printed down our conversation because I'm like, look where we started. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's unbelievable to think 8 years later now, here you are, and it's, I'm so proud of what you've been able to achieve, and proud to have been a small part of the very beginning of that.
Do you know what that started with? Now, I don't know. We got to tell everybody here in the podcast here, right? Because this is and I was just so thankful last night. I'm like, Mike is going to be my first guest. Yay. Because like I said, you're the one that got me into this mess, right? And I say that tongue in cheek,
yeah,
because I love it. I love every minute of it. I really do. The struggle, the everything, it builds character, So,
yeah.
But the very first thing you had, I don't want to go too much on this first podcast, but I mean, I was in a situation. I wasn't able to walk and all this other stuff, and then I was able to. So and we'll go into, because I love talking about that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Oh, I love talking about that. And you had posted. I was on Facebook. I was building my tiny house out in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And I'm on my Facebook, and I see here Mike posts something up, and he goes, "So who wants to go into business with me?" And I was like, well, I'm an entrepreneur by trade. I had, I had a computer business back in the day, the multi-million. I mean, that's just a thing. And I'm like, yeah, me, I'll do it. What you got? And then it was reselling another product. Right.
Right.
And I was like, oh, come on, man. I'm like, can't we come up with something better than that? I mean, let's come up with our own thing. Like, I don't want to be reselling for anybody, because then it's just like, we're just like I don't want to say any big box names, but I don't want to be like,
yeah,
working for, like, let's do our own thing. Like, we can come up with something even better. And look, right? So I got the Bible out within 10 days, Mike. That I know what day that was, in March. And on April 1st, that's when I secured all of the, like the website name. I went all across the board, all the social medias, and put everything in there. So, within 10 days, it was
Yeah.
all there. And it was just like magic, right?
Yep.
I know you
It
like your
did. It
magic.
was, yeah.
I know you do.
What your viewers don't know about me is I'm a professional magician by trade. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yep.
also ran for president of the United States. So sitting here not talking
Exactly.
about politics has been difficult.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I saw, when I asked you to come on last night, you said, well, I'm busy right now. How about tomorrow? And I said, well, then I saw your comment on Facebook later and I said, oh, yeah, I know what you were doing. Because I went
Yeah.
to that channel. I went back out of that channel because I'm like, I'm not even going to give them the ratings.
Oh yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Absolute nightmare. But kind of going in the same direction as the beverage, an all natural kind of wonderful thing that was given to us by the creator, way back when. He's also given us other things that we can do that will work in concert with the beverage. And I posted this on Facebook back in January, just some things that we can make, simple changes in our lives that make all the difference in the world. Number one, get more sleep. Your body only grows and rebuilds and repairs itself when you have adequate sleep.
He talked about that, and Cornell talked a lot about that too.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and I've been a night owl my whole life. I was an overnight disc jockey at WHNN there in Saginaw for some time, and so I was used to being up at night. And even today at 57, I don't get a ton of sleep, but I'm getting better at it. I have since gotten myself a CPAP machine, and so I'm sleeping better at night, and I'm feeling better as a result. Number two, drink plenty of fresh, pure water. We don't realize the crap that we're putting in our bodies when we drink city water. Folks, you're drinking chlorine. You're drinking fluoride, which is an offshoot of the manufacture of fertilizer, and it's highly poisonous. So we need to drink pure water and drink plenty of it. My guideline for myself is 1 ounce of water for every, or a half an ounce of water for every pound of body weight. So I weigh 165 roughly pounds. So I should be drinking about 65 to 70 ounces of water a day. That's a lot for some people. That means you're going to be peeing a lot. But that's also good because that's how you
work
get
the
rid of
coffee
toxins.
in too, don't you?
Well, yeah. Well, I actually backed off of the coffee quite a bit. I used to drink when I was still living in Saginaw, where there were 24-hour coffee shops. My friend and I at the time would go to a place, and here's a free ad for them. We used to go to Tony's restaurant in Saginaw.
Tim's Tony's, by the way.
Oh, which one is Tim's?
The one on Center and
Okay, no, I go to.
Yeah, if we're gonna plug Tim's Tony's.
Well, Tim's is good. I eat there too, but my house was right around the corner from the one on Brockway and Gratiot, so that's the one I went.
Yes, yep.
It's been around forever, and my friend and I used to go there. And again, the night owl thing, I'd tuck my wife into bed, make sure my kids were in bed, and then he and I would go to Tony's, and we would just start drinking coffee. And in fact, the waitresses got to the point where they wouldn't even refill our cups. We just had to go get our own because we were drinking so much. We would drink probably three to four pots of coffee between the two of us at the time. And I was also drinking a lot of coffee at work. So at one point in my life, I was drinking about 40 cups of coffee a day. I am down to, I drink some decaf too.
Right.
But you have to watch that because a lot of coffee is decaffeinated with rat poison or a derivative of.
Yep.
So you have to watch. You want to only drink decaf that's done with effervescent water. And that's
I don't know. And not to plug something, but something that starts with a D and a D. I have it out in New England. You guys have Tim Hortons out here.
Yeah. The one you're talking about is my all-time favorite road coffee. I used to be a on-the-road salesman.
Okay, right. I know, right?
Every one of those stores was. Unfortunately, they've shut them all down here in northern Michigan. There isn't a one.
I know. I know.
So it's
They
I
they ma
can't
they
and
make, like,
the
this
at
frozen
home.
coffee drink I used to get all the time back in Connecticut, and
Yeah,
then I come here and I'm like, I was almost in tears because that was, like,
yeah.
that was a cool
I
thing.
used to drink it, and it was the only coffee I'd ever put cream in. And the reason is the cream that that particular store uses is 18% butterfat.
Oh, yeah,
So it's
nice and
really
stuff. That tastes
super high
really good,
fat.
huh? Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. But
Super horrible for
boy,
you.
did we go down a rabbit hole there. But
Yeah, we
anyway,
did.
so
Yeah, we did.
yeah,
We got off on coffee.
the
On a tangent.
water actually it'll make you urinate more, but that's good because that's how you eliminate toxins from your body.
It's the elimination.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Now you slow up, what you're drinking at night if you don't want to be up all night. I do keep a water bottle on my bedstand at night,
Mhm.
in case I get dry mouth or whatever. I can hit that. Although it's more difficult now with the CPAP because you have to unhook everything and in order to take a drink. But so sleep, water, fresh fruits and vegetables, in addition to your meats. Some people, if you have a meatless diet, that's fine, but you got to make sure you're getting all your amino acids, and all of that stuff. Otherwise, as you mentioned earlier, it's not going to properly absorb into your body. So you need all the fresh enzymes. So when you overcook your meat, number one, especially if it's on the grill, you're creating toxins in the charring. If you're
Mhm.
cooking your vegetables, it's much better to eat them raw because when you cook, you're killing the enzymes. You're destroying the enzymes that help
Mhm.
you digest that. When you boil for instance, you get broccoli, which is incredibly healthy, great source of vitamin C and other great nutrition. But how do most of us cook it? We boil it on the stove. Okay. Well, when
Yeah.
you boil it, a lot of the nutrients leach out into that water. And then what do? We dump the water down the
And
drain.
didn't we used to say that growing up as kids? We were like, well, you heat up the cut the fresh carrots, right? And you put them in the water and
Yeah.
boil it. That's how we used to do it, right? We always got fresh.
Yeah.
So, and then you go over to the sink and you dump all that orange water down the thing, and you're looking at it as it's going, bye bye. And it didn't
Yeah.
feel right. It actually
No.
it didn't feel right.
And if you're
Getting
going
rid
to
of that.
boil yeah, I mean, if you're going to boil
Like, seriously,
your
in comments, folks, like, whoever noticed that? Did you ever do that? Are you old enough to where you actually boiled fresh carrots when you were a kid and helped mom in the kitchen? I did. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
and like you said, you're just dumping out half the nutrition. So if you're going to boil your vegetables just out of habit or just that's the way you're going to do it, then take that water and freeze it. Use it as a soup stock later,
Yeah, use
because
it for something, yeah.
you know then you're at least getting some of that nutrition back in your body. But the better way is to eat things fresh, because the
Do you
enzymes are
steam
there.
I did that with
Yeah,
broccoli. I would make it for my daughter. I learned to love broccoli. I don't know why. I
yeah,
think
I love.
I went to a restaurant and they put hollandaise sauce on it one day, and I said, "That was, like, life-changing. I can put
Yeah,
sauce on my broccoli. This
or
tastes so
cheese
good."
sauce.
Yeah, yeah. Hollandaise sauce is a little bit thinner. I thought
It is.
it wasn't as rich as, like, a Cheese Whiz or something. I don't know. We keep
Right,
throwing out
right.
these brand names out here. What's gonna happen? Um,
They should start paying us.
they should yeah, yeah. There's no conflict of interest with my business, so, I mean, it's no big deal.
That's
I
right.
don't make anything cheese, people. Um,
That's
but you could go eat your cheese and then drink the fruit beverage, okay? And then
right.
you can enjoy the cheese and then truly enjoy it because you've got the backup in there to help you process through and get rid of that junk that's coming with it.
Right.
See, that's the thing. I'm not looking. I know a lot in but anyway, before I forget, I steam all my broccoli.
Yes.
And then I'll put some sauce on it, Alfredo, hollandaise
Hmm.
sauce and stuff like that. Just a light white sauce on there, and it just was life
Yeah.
changing.
Or you can mix it in. Like last night, I decided to make chicken with pasta, and I took some asparagus, which I love. I
I
learned
know
a
I've
lot
seen
of
some
good.
of your dinner plates you post. You used to
Yeah,
post them all the time.
yeah. I haven't done that in a long time, but
Oh, you haven't?
last night I cut up some chicken, had the pasta, and I made a garlic lemon sauce.
Oh, I
creamy
love the
garlic
garlic.
lemon sauce to go with it. And then I cut up the asparagus into little 1-inch bite-sized pieces, and I just cooked it all together in a in a saute pan. So we didn't
Right.
lose any real nutrition, and it made a fantastic dish that was. And I
That
can't
helps
claim
flavor
any
the
credit
chicken
for
too, though. I can imagine the asparagus and everything in there and just melding together in a
it. Oh yeah.
saute.
Oh, it's really the lemon added some freshness. Also added a little bit of vitamin C.
Yes. Oh, citrus. Citrus is good.
Yep.
It's I have a lot to say about lemons.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yes,
love
a lot of
lemon.
I just take a fresh lemon. I'll go to a restaurant and I'll say, you know how they used to put water on the table every
Yeah.
time you go out to a restaurant, all right? So, and I am a like a soda. You call it
Mhm.
pop here, right? I grew up with pop, and then I
Mhm.
move out to New England, and it's all soda. Then I lived in Georgia for a little bit too, and they could just there's Michiganders down there and whatever. They just go soda pop.
Yep. Or
They
Coke.
just
In
yeah,
some
well,
parts of the
yeah,
South, everything is Coke. Now,
everything
what
is Coke.
flavor of Coke do you want? Dr.
I know.
Pepper. And I was like,
Doctor, I know, right? Pepsi. I
yeah,
want Pepsi flavor Coke, please. I do. Guilty too. I've done that.
yeah,
And, I drank a ton of it. I mean, it was with dinner, it was with everything. I mean, there ton. And I've noticed that recently, I've just not had the desire for it. And
yeah,
I've gone into restaurants, back in the day, like I said, they used to put water on the restaurant table. So, I got a friend of mine, and we'll go out and eat a lot, and I'll order the soda, and I take 2 sips, and he's like, well, why did you order it if you're not gonna drink it? I'm like, I want it, I just don't have an interest in it for some
yeah.
reason, I just not desiring it. So I started getting the water, but I just get fresh lemon. I said, "Can you bring me a slice of lemon?" They've always got lemon back there in that kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
And so just squeeze that fresh lemon in there and
Mhm.
lemon water, and it's the most beautiful thing, and it helps with your digestion and stuff like that, and it's such a subtle thing,
Yes.
makes such a huge difference, though.
Yep. Or you can even, I use lime. I'm a big fan of lime for the same reason. Um, I'll drink I'm a huge iced tea fan. I've got a jug of sun tea sitting out on my deck right now, getting.
I waited tables in Georgia, and do you know what I walked around two-fisted with? Tea. Oh,
Yep.
they love their tea in Georgia, and it was
Oh, yeah.
either sweetened and unsweetened, yeah, and
Yep.
lemons
And
with it like
I'm
crazy.
not a big sweet tea guy, but in fact, of course, being diabetic, I wouldn't be, but
Right.
uh, I'll at the big restaurant with the yellow scrolled letter up on a big sign that looks like an upside down W. Try not to say brand names here, but
I
anyhow,
know, and that one, I did you see a post? They shut one down here recently.
yeah, the one that you and I grew up going to.
Yes, and you know exactly what I'm talking about because it's right down
Yeah,
the road, and they shut it the health department shut them down. I'm not
I saw
surprised by
that.
that.
And
Yeah,
then there were rumors about
but I
one
have
up
a
here
lot
where
to
I live.
say about fast food.
Oh, it's not food.
No.
It's really not food.
Not even. Okay, but and I don't wanna interrupt your thought that you were talking
No.
about because about your upside down thing, but, it actually came out what they released and what a lot of people don't know this. It is now they have developed in a lab how to make and grow a beef and a chicken product, and it is now in the year of 2022, we're in July now, and in this year, it is legal for them to sell it to the public, and they don't have to tell you.
Mhm.
And when they grow it in the lab, they grow it into a shape of what? The beef in a patty shape. I don't wanna put the word fast food into that same sentence, or should I? I don't know. See, that's a question because I don't have to tell you. And then the chicken, they grow it into a form of chicken nuggets, they said.
Mhm.
And I just ran across that article recently, and I said, "Hmm,
Yeah. And then it's not good for you for that reason, and just for a whole host of other reasons. It's
when
they
they
use
don't
poor
even know
quality meat.
though, Mike.
Yeah,
They don't
and
they
people
don't
don't
they
know.
don't know what plant compounds are fully in that
Right.
they eat plants, right? And there's things with the beef and the chicken that help you to stay alive. There's a reason why we eat it. I mean,
Yeah.
I see a lot of memes on Facebook like, "You're never gonna see a cave drawing of, someone picking a plant. And I'm like, well, yes, you do. But I mean, you see all the hunters, right? They're
Right.
hunters and gatherers. It's both. But it's to what degree and what extent.
Right.
Right. So, but some
And
of
what
this
quality.
laboratory stuff is actually,
It's gross.
I'm concerned about it a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, we're
Like,
ingesting a lot of chemicals that we have no idea what the long-term,
that's the
effects
thing.
are going to be on our bodies. We look at the exploding rates of cancer. We look at the exploding rates of heart disease and obesity. There's more people dieting in the United States per capita than anywhere else in the world, but we're also the fattest nation in the world. Now, if we're all dieting, why are we getting so fat? And it's partially because we are ingesting a lot of chemicals through our cleaning products, through our food, through our water that don't allow our bodies to release fat. And it's doing a lot of damage to us. There's certain areas of the country.
And you know what it is, though? And in the fast food generation, okay, because that really is what it is. I remember growing up, mom, dad, 5 kids in the house, right? So we go to McDonald's, right, all in the back of the station wagon with the window open. And we go in and get a big bag of hamburgers and bring it home. And, but we grew up on that, right? So, I mean, that's been there since I was a little kid. But we're basically the fast food. We need it fast. And that's what you're talking about when you dubbed it too. And a lot of I've heard that too, the microwave age. That microwave generation, and that's what we are. But we need it fast, right? And fruit is not fast.
Nope.
And there's problems with fruit. You got to get it fresh. And sometimes, so they sell you green bananas and you got to wait for them to ripen. And then by the time they ripen, I mean, did you really want it that day? Because I bought them the day I wanted it and I don't want it this day. So then they go bad and then you get, all stuff, whatever. So you end up tossing it out and you say, the next time you go to the grocery store, well, maybe I'm only going to get one, but or maybe I'm only going to get this kind of fruit. And it's so sticky and it makes a mess and I got to peel it and then I got to worry about it goes bad. And that's the beauty of this here. I got a bottle right here. I'm going to reach over. So pardon me here. You show everybody your handsome face mug there while I reach over and get this bottle.
Well, here.
I'll
do my.
There you go. Coffee.
I'm a grandpa. What's your superpower mug?
Woo! I love it. People are going to be watching this video and they're going to be going, what are these guys doing? This is a business? Yeah. But we're real people, and this is really what it is. This is, by the way, this is the Alex's Mana. I'll hold this up to the screen here. I don't know if I give it a chance to focus on that. And that's what it is. Now, I found some in antiquity. This is an actual coin that's in a museum. That is King Philip II, I believe, right? Alexander the Great's father.
Yes.
Because this comes from antiquity. And I was struck by, I don't know, we'll go into any of the imagery and stuff, but there's reasons why I put that on there. And it's a 2-ounce bottle, Mike.
Yep.
I drank one of the, and it's like, okay, so talk about tomato juice, because that's a generic term, right? Mm-hmm. So if you drink tomato juice, here's your fruit alternative. And add this, just incorporate this into your diet. And if you're someone who doesn't like tomato juice, give this a try. Throw this on your breakfast table. It goes in I have, I did the glass. It was fun coming up with the company logo too. It's a piece of heraldry from my family lineage.
No.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll show you this because I'm doing everything by hand. I am so old school, and I got some quotes on prices, like how I can do things in mass quantities and stuff like that. And I said, "You get $5 a piece. I can do it for less than 9 cents. So why am I not just doing it myself, right? Yeah. So I'm doing it myself. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but see, this is the glass. It's a little 2-ounce glass. And so I put this in a gift box. A friend of mine kept saying, you have to do a gift box. Yeah. I think he had friends for Christmas that he wanted to give a gift to. So, he wanted me to make a gift box. So I blame him. He was going to come on the podcast today. But he said he was doing stuff and couldn't get in here. So we'll get him on here. Really, really good friend of mine from a long time ago. I'm from out in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So you're gonna meet him. I don't want to
Perfect.
say his name because I don't overcommit him. The only person I committed so far is Andrea, right? Andy, she's gonna come on here and do some yoga stuff, talk
Yep.
with us because she can add just such an amazing dimension to this, right?
Yeah.
So,
And that was
but
the other part of my suggestions that I forgot was, the water, the sleep, and all of that is exercise. Um,
yes,
we are a very lazy society too. We sit behind our computers. We sit. In my case, I traveled for a living, so I was either sitting in a car or an airplane, eating in restaurants and all of that kind of thing. So that extra 15, 20, 30 minutes of exercise, even if it's not, you don't have to go out and lift weights and turn into Hulk Hogan, but you just move a little bit, get out and walk.
do
You know,
you remember in our elementary school? Because right, it's great because you went to the same. I went to Mackinac.
I Mackinac
You
Middle. I went to Chippewa.
Chippewa. That's what I thought. You went to Chippewa. So, but I remember in gym class, even back then, right? And they're saying, I was this young kid sitting there, right? And you got to put your gym clothes on. You go into gym
Hmm.
class. You're sitting there, and they're going, okay, now everybody sit on the floor, put your legs straight out. And we want to point and flex your feet, right? So you're going to point your toes and flex your feet. I thought it was the stupidest thing at the time, right? And then you're gonna stand up and you're gonna like make your arms in circles this way, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna make your arms in circles that. Stupidest thing every time. I mean, I did, right? It's a
Yeah.
pass fail for gym, right? You don't get A's. They don't not grading how strong you are.
Right.
So, but as I'm older, it all comes back to me. And do you know I find myself, well, especially the not walking thing and stuff. I go back to that, but just on a regular, everyday thing and stuff. I'm like, I need to be pointing and flexing.
Hmm. And
And it's a
had we
simple
done that
thing.
throughout our lives, we wouldn't be worried about it now.
I do that same 15, 20-minute thing that they taught me. And so we got to get Andy on here, right? So she's got Andrea, and
Yep.
she's going to show us, hopefully, I hope you're watching, Andrea, because we're going to put you on the spot. But we want you to incorporate the exercise with this. And I think that just well rounds this. Okay. So I'm going to
Yeah.
hold
Well,
this
part of
up
a
because
healthy
if you say
lifestyle.
this is like, it's a 2 ounce.
Yep.
Let me see if you can. I don't have any nail polish on. I didn't primp at all. I don't primp for this. So I'm just real. It's just me. I'm a simple human being. I'm just a simple person, people. All right. So here's the glass, and it's a little 2 ounce. Are you seeing that okay?
Yep.
And that's my company logo. It's a chapeau with a flame a la proper. It's on the bottle too, but it's like so small down here that once it's on the website, you'll be able to see it better. But yeah, so I have the glasses and have this. You can buy just the glass and this. You don't have to buy the 2 box thing or something, whatever. But I thought it was cute. Put 2 little things in here, and then I made some pouches. See, here's the fun. Okay, because I've talked to a lot of people, and I said, hey, do you want to do sales? I'm paying commission, right? So
Hmm.
anybody that wants to go out and talk about this, I have a virtual way you can do this, right? Right from your couch. You don't even have to get up. You can
Yeah.
come on here and do the podcast with me. I'd like to have and just go out and have people do a live taste testing with it, right? And so what I want to do is have them go out and do the live taste testing during our podcast. So
Hmm.
we'll just jump on and have them out there. So there's folks from Nova Scotia to Hawaii. Tony, I said Tony, right?
You
So
did say Tony.
okay, so
No,
I gotta give you a little bit. I am gonna put her on the spot here because she loves us and we love her. We love her so much. We can't wait to go out there. Tony, we're coming. we're gonna have our meeting out there, our company meeting. So she sent me, I can tell you there's a pineapple
Hmm.
used in this beverage recipe. And I needed a pineapple. And I was like, well, I'm looking around at my vendors. Where am I going to source all of my ingredients, in mass quantities? And I was living down in Georgia at the time. And Tony, yes, I'm going to tell everyone what you did. She went down to the Dole factory, right? She went right down there to Dole and she overnighted airshipped me fresh pineapples from Dole. Yeah. Yeah. So she has been like right here. I mean, she is just just as a human being, she's just an amazing person. So yeah, Tony, we're putting you on the spot because I know I sent you a note last night and I tagged you last night on my test podcast. You got to get in here and start talking about this. But what I did for my dad, we had started a nonprofit. And I did it in his name while he's alive. I mean, anyone doesn't, my dad has passed now. So, but we didn't know who the beneficiary was going to be at the time. So, given a personal situation that I had gone through, it came to me, and Mike, the same way the beverage came up, this came up. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I'm walking out this building, and this lady happened to, this person was just placed there. I just like dropped down from heaven, and I'm talking to her, and I says, well, I don't have glaucoma. I'm not going blind by Monday. I was told I was rushing to the emergency room and said, well, you're having an issue. You'll be blind on Monday. If you go blind before then, just give us a call. But you're free to go home. Right. So, yeah. So a couple of days after that, there's a lot that happened in the past year. So I'm coming out of the doctor's office, and this other lady, she's helping her mom come out and everything. And I was talking to her about it. Like, I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. I don't have this glaucoma issue, and I'm going to be able to be fine. I mean, it was just a side effect of something else that was going on. And she says, well, I do have glaucoma. And I'm like, so there's this person standing in front of me with glaucoma. And she says, I asked her about it, right? Because it just presented itself. The situation just was placed right there. And she was telling me that she has to put drops in her eyes every day, and that her insurance company will only pay for a generic brand. Yeah, so you're shaking, you know exactly what I'm going to say right now. So, but it doesn't work. So she has to purchase the actual shelf brand, or the original species, I don't know what you call it, right? The original product of it. You know how you have, like, if you go to a big box store and you have that original product, and then you have the generic one next to it, right? And so her insurance company refused to pay for anything other outside of the generic. So, and she goes to her doctor and says, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work, Mike. It doesn't help her keep her vision. And so why God played this little glaucoma joke on me, I always say it's a joke, right? Tongue in cheek. I was like, there's always something to be learned. So he's always checking to make sure I have a sense of humor. I do. But she said, so she has to pay $200 to $300 a month out of pocket, right? Just to get the real drops, because her insurance company won't pay for it. And so right then and there, I knew in that moment that this is what my dad's, the gift of sight to see the beauty in the world. That's my dad's nonprofit. That's the intention. So then I was talking to Tony, and she actually, she is very involved, and she knows this. I can get you I can get you this stuff, So what we're going to do with the beverage is a lot of all of the profits and everything else like that. A portion of that is always going to be gone over to that nonprofit in my dad's name. It's called Benji's Daily Bread. There's a lot else is going to come out of that, but it's going to be able to help glaucoma people be able to afford the real deal, so they can continue to see. And Tony said she just let her know, and she'd see what she could do to help get that facilitated, because it's funding, it's the monetary, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. But what I did to confirm it, because you need a medical person to say, hey, is this real? And so I get on the phone, and I called someone I know, and I said, who's an ophthalmologist. And I said, he was calling to check up on me and say, well, how you doing after the fact, And I says, oh, well, it turns out I'm not going blind, right? So he was happy. And I asked him about that. And I says, is it true? And he says, yes, all my patients who have glaucoma, they all have to pay out of pocket. And the generic does not work. And he validated that. And he says, I says, okay, so when I'm ready, I said, you know how to reach the people who need it for me, right? Because I can't just go out there blowing a horn and saying, hey, who needs this? And how do you get, I mean, it's a medical thing, right? So how do you get it to people? And so we're going to have to create something to help people across the country, right? Go through their eye doctors, right? And be able to get it to them through that way.
Yeah.
To help them alleviate $200-300 a month. They have to pay that just to be able to see.
Yeah.
To see
Yeah.
money.
And same thing with insulin. You know, it's insulin. If you, I'm lucky because my wife works for a health center, so we have really good insurance, and my insulin doesn't cost me as much as it would if I had to pay out of pocket. I would be around $300 a month. On top of that, I use an insulin pump. The insulin pump the pump itself is about $7,000. Then you have the glucose sensors that cost a fortune, and the tubing and all of that. I would be out probably $2,000 to $3,000 a month if it weren't for my insurance. You know, on the other side of that, if it weren't for insurance, products wouldn't cost so much because they keep raising.
I pay cash for doctors, and they didn't even know how to write it up. Yeah. Nobody pays cash anymore. By the way, you get, folks, if you don't know, I'm going to put this out there in the public domain here. Personal, I can tell you, you get a 60% discount. If you go to your doctor, all right, you ask them, say, I want to pay cash. You could back in the day, Mike, remember, they didn't process your insurance. Everything was online and instantaneous and all this other stuff. You go in, you make the appointment, and there was always that delay. Okay, so I need a form. I submit it to my insurance company, and I give the insurance company permission to mail you a check. And if they don't cover the whole thing, then let me know and I'll make up the difference. Or the doctor would just write it off or something, right?
Yeah.
So, but now it's all instantaneous and stuff. So now when you go in, and I said I want to pay cash, and then there was a new doctor. I was trying to get a new primary doctor. Believe this is real. I want to come in and I'm going to pay cash. And now listen to this, because I was just like, still, I don't have a primary doctor, and here's why. I'm going to come in and so I can make a contact and have a primary physician. And I want to pay cash. And I said, but how much is it going to be? So I know to prepare and budget for it and stuff like that. Well, hold on a second. And she comes back and she goes, well, I don't know. And I said, what do you mean you don't know? And she says, well, it depends on what he does in the visit as to how much it's going to cost. And I says, well, okay, so why don't you make the appointment? I got a puppy, so you're going to hear barking intermittently. Everybody, one day I'll show you my puppy here.
Mine's at my feet, so if he hears the barking, he might start.
He's going to start barking. Yeah, we're going to have a whole audience. Yeah, you know, I have buttons here. Let me tell you. Okay, so let me finish my story first. Then I got some buttons here, so we're going to play with some of the sound effects that comes with my equipment here. It's kind of fun. I was playing with it with my daughters, and so I said, so let me book an appointment and get in there and meet with a doctor and stuff, you know, and just have a regular checkup. I mean, I've had this medical over the years. I've had over 20 surgeries, Mike. Do you believe it? Over 20, plus some injuries that plus on top of that. And I says, I've had enough doctors in my life. I don't really need another one for no good reason. Right. So, but that's how you got to do it. You got to go, oh, look at the babes. Oh, this is the pup you just got like within 6 months ago or something.
Yeah. He's my comfort dog. He's 4 years old. And
what's his name?
His name is Jack.
Jack.
Yeah. That was his name when we got him. And it was because, they didn't know what to name him. And when he was a puppy, he would wait till all of his litter mates fell asleep, and then he'd go jump on them and, roughhouse with them and all of that. And so the owner said, hey, quit being a jackass. And they finally decided we better shorten that.
You better edit that. Yeah.
So he just became Jack. And that's what he answers to. And he is a, Shih Tzu, Pomeranian, and
I can see the palm.
Oh yeah, and Chihuahua mix. He's been a good dog. He sleeps actually. We've never really liked having dogs in bed with us because we've always had really big dogs, and he actually curls up my wife bought him a little bed, which is between our heads in our king size bed. And so Jack sleeps in between my
right there.
wife and I's head. And he stays in bed with me until I get up. Even if she gets up, he will stay right there with me. But
Oh, wow.
sorry for the
What a
distraction,
love.
but he wanted up in my lap
Oh,
for a minute.
no, that was more fun to talk about than going to the doctor, for crying out loud. Let's I'll talk about our pets. I love, and there's a lot to it. I mean, they have a more emotional support, everything and stuff like the pets are important in our lives. So, I mean, it's
They
just
are.
I'm just all for a well-rounded life, you know? I
Yep.
mean, different things work for different people. But just to finish up, because, people watching this podcast later are going to say, well, what happened? Did she get to the doctor? So here's what and the answer is no. And here's why. Because you have to pay in advance to get the appointment. So I said, okay, well, when I get there and I show up for the appointment and I have to hand you cash, how much do you want? Well, we don't know. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding people. I seriously, we don't know what to charge you until after the visit. And I said, okay. But you demand that I pay the cash before I go in. So how much do you want? They couldn't figure it out. And they said, well, okay, well, I said, well, maybe I'll get insurance, in a few months, maybe I'll come in. She go, well, call us back then. And they couldn't do it. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm not going to give out the doctor's name, because when I did get insurance, I went there and I'll never see him again. So I'm glad I did get in there back there in that day, because it wasn't. There's a whole nother thing there. I gotta shut my phone here. But it's just paying cash and the insurance and stuff like that, and getting back to the glaucoma, and the insulin and stuff like that. But things that these are life sustaining, and then how the beverages and the dragon wafers. It's such a fun name, dragon wafers. Who calls them dragon wafers, right? But they're so nutritious, and there's no there's somewhat I make them with flour, because regular everyday flour, because it tastes good, right? And maybe somebody doesn't care, they don't have any health issues, and they go, just give me the good stuff and I'll drink the fruit with it, because you are getting the health benefits of the filling, that comes from the beverage as well too. And but some of it is not, right? So like this first one here, I haven't said what the ingredients on the first dragon wafer here. But it's amazing. I came into this recipe, and then I found out how good it is after the fact. The same like the beverages, right? And it was like I just had these things that I wanted to do, and I just did them, and then I looked up the health stuff afterwards. And I said, really, this is the glycemic index on this one, really? And so I want to use this ingredient because it's actually something my mother-in-law, who came from overseas and stuff like that, and that she taught me, and so when I raised my daughter and stuff like that, it was like, really? And it goes right back to that. So I told her, I said, you know how I got this idea is from grandma, and she's really. So yeah, it's just the overall thing, and the details, Mike, it's an amazing story and everything else like that. But it's kosher. I could actually have it certified kosher. It's 100% gluten free. It's just because I'll tell you originally that Ezekiel bread. My original, before I even realized the dragon wafers and stuff, I was originally I've reached out to them a couple times, right? Because they're sales staff over there, and I said, well, I'll just give you X number of dollars. Just put a sticker on your loaf of bread that says, man does not live by bread alone. Here's a beverage, And he was they've been in business 40 years, and I'm like, there's something about that 40 years. I don't know. It keeps jumping in my head. Yeah. So I thought I'd just, do some advertising like that, because it's a similar thing. It's the recipe for the beverage, is derived through the Bible and other sources. I mean, it's not just strictly the Bible. So I know like Ezekiel bread, they put their chapter and verse out there. They said, well, it comes from here. This is where it comes from. And because mine is it's a little bit more complicated of how it's derived. So, but the origin is through the Bible. You got to start there, and then you there are some other things. And I decided I don't want to tell people. I don't want to tell people where it came from. I want people to figure it out. So I posted it. I'm going to put a challenge. I'll offer something. I don't know what I'm going to offer. People like money. So maybe I'll offer some money incentive or something or whatever, challenge. But if they can figure out how I came about the recipe, can anybody else figure it out? Because when I filed the patent, Mike, it was like, it has to be non-obvious. I said, well, and it's funny because I was down in Georgia when I was first looking at this, and I sat back in my chair and I says, well, gosh, the Bible has been in publication for like almost 2,000 years, right? And nobody's figured it out since, in that time frame. So kind of non-obvious, yeah, head scratcher, right? So the challenge is, how did I derive the recipe? And so that's the thing. So what I did is, in the label is built in. Let me hold it that way. All the hints you need, every single hint is on the label of Alex's Mana, to where the I keep hearing, is that my phone or your phone that keeps chirping?
Oh, no, I've got mine on buzz.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what that is coming in.
I don't know either.
I don't see any comments or anything. It's not showing up on the live stream here. So folks, if you're commenting, we're not seeing them, just so you know. But it could be time of day too.
Yeah.
Could be time of day. Folks will be looking at this tonight. When I did that little 5-6 minute whatever testing last night, people were just going on and commenting. It'll come up in the news feed. So the more of these we do, the more they're going to start coming in. Yep. So what on earth was I talking about? I got distracted by all those beeps. Oh, the source, the origin.
Yeah.
How it was derived and stuff. So what I thought I'd do is just put a challenge on the website and say, if you can figure out how I figured it out, is there anyone else there who can do it?
Right.
Tell me who can figure this out, because yeah, it's very unique. I've been in awe every single day, Mike. I'm telling you. I mean, the just absolute awe at how this came about, and just like, seriously, like, I learned not just the ingredients on this first recipe here, just not the ingredients, the timing of the processing, how to process it. I mean, how to actually do it, right? I learned everything. And so I've just been, you know what I mean? They say like somebody has that moment of, what's it called?
Inspiration or
something like that, where something just hits you and it comes and it's just all there. But to the bitter, and I have the photographic memory, right? I said, right. But so I see all this and I learn all of the details of everything. So it's funny because when I walk through, I had in the back of my mind the whole time, I'm going through, okay, so now the government says, right? You need this license, you need that license, you need this verified, you need that sign, you need this approved, and da 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 da. And you walk all down, you walk down the list of everything that the government has to be able to get involved and everything else like that, which everybody approved, everyone approves of my product, and I passed the sniff test or whatever you will. But in the back of my head, I think I actually wrote it to somebody because they said this, that, or the other thing, and I said, okay, well, I'm just going to put this out there, and I can probably print the email off at some point. And I said, God says to do this. Man questions, needs verification. I can go along with that. But what you're saying here to me and asking me to do this, that, or the whatever, right, for proof or evidence to you, or making that statement, I said, you're telling me that God is wrong. And I'm like, I'm shaking. And so, and I pushed that, and I meant every word of it. And I said, well, I was told this is the right way to do it. So if you're telling me that this is wrong, then I have to reevaluate the entire universe. Like, I mean, personally, and I said, so he looked at about it and he thought about it. So then I sent him this other thing and he said, you know what? You're right. So I said, wow, I'm getting feedback here for something. I don't know if it's on the phone or something, whatever. I was getting some feedback there. So hopefully that doesn't cause a problem later on the playback or something.
I didn't hear anything. So,
but yeah, and it was part of the testing of the process, right? Before I could get all my licenses and stuff like that. So I got to that moment to where man was questioning, and I'm this little person who says, well, this is the way it's supposed to be done. And I haven't questioned it. I've made it this way and stuff like that. And so then they went and they did the head scratching for a second, right? And then they came back and they go, yeah, this is right. You're right. This is the right way to do it. So, yay, right?
yeah,
That was it's just interesting to me. I don't know. I just sat there and I said, well, God says this is how it's supposed to be done. I'm just going with that. I mean, I was just trusting in it, I just, and you talk about blind faith, 7 years, Mike. I mean, all the sacrifices, everything I did. Like, seriously, I was down in Georgia. I was waiting tables, and I'd run over to, I tell everybody, I love telling everybody this. I would run over to my table and I get $2, right? A tip off of a little lunch somebody had, right? Or something. And some people are complaining about their tips and this. I'd run over and I'd pick it up and I'm like, look, I can get another stainless steel spoon. I mean, like, literally, I have put this together through, painstakingly, piece by piece by piece by piece. And so it's just amazing to be able to bring it out and just get it to everybody, see what their thoughts are. I mean, and you don't have to go into all the bitter details of it. I mean, you either like it or you don't. Someone says, well, what if people don't like it? And I says, well, not everyone likes tomato juice either. I, in particular, do not like tomato juice, but I like the fruit. I'm not a big fan of fruit. Never have been. I don't eat a lot of fruit and stuff like that. So I knew really nothing about fruit when I started this. So it's just amazing. I've learned so much, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun bringing this out here. And Tony can come on there from Hawaii. We'll do a late night one, and Tony can come on and she can brag about her fresh pineapple she's got sitting on her kitchen table. Probably she's doing. So, alrighty, my friend. So, how about we wrap this up? I know we were actually going to do a half an hour, and we did an hour and a half.
We did.
I'm not surprised by that. I mean,
Me either.
Once you get talking about it, I think it's a little bit. I don't know about you, but I'm all nerved up about doing this. I'm not a in the camera kind of person. I have my whole life been the dude. I'm the one behind the camera.
Right.
I'm the one making everything happen, and it's really hard for me to step out into the front stage.
And I've been the opposite. I've always been in front of the camera, on stage.
I know.
Surround me with 2,000 people, and I'm happy.
Oh, I know, right? And me, no, I'll be the one hiding in the back next to the closet, with my one hand and one foot out the door to make a quick exit. I hate crowds. I do. Someone wanted me to go watch something last week, and they said, "Oh, let's go out in this." And 4th of July, they had stuff and everything. And I was like, sorry, no, I don't do crowds. I don't like crowds. So, that's not my thing. So, this is going to be awesome. And hopefully you come on here regularly and talk to people, because I have, nationally known dietitians, nutritionists and stuff like that, who are like expert in their field. Like, to be a nutritionist, if no one knows, because, when I was looking into what kind of title should I, whatever, to be in the state of Michigan, you don't have to license for anything, by the way.
No.
Which I think is a little dangerous. However, when you step outside the state of Michigan, all the other states, majority of those states, you have to be licensed in nutrition to talk about nutrition. So I said, well, I want my certification so I can at least validate the knowledge that I think I carry through my patent, right? Which they did. They validated and verified and clarified. Because any outstanding questions I had, they did. And plus continued on and went through an extensive resources of the National Institute of Health
Right.
And the WHO, I can cite the NIH studies and the WHO studies, and then all these dietitians and nutritionists I'm hoping to get on here, and they're medical. So they did their bachelor's, they did their PhD, and then you have to test for nutrition. So I
Right.
want to have them come in here and talk about their patients, right? Their nutrition. And also what I learned, how you say, like, if you're going to have something, go talk to your doctor and find out
Right.
if you can have this grapefruit, right? And how is that going to interfere with your medication? What they verified in Cornell, I think it's I'll look it up, so don't quote me right now today, but it's around 5 to 10% of their entire education deals with nutrition.
Yeah.
So when you go to your doctor and that's why he doesn't talk about your food, right? He's going to write your prescription. That's what a doctor is for. They do prescriptions, they do surgery, they do these other things, and they're going to test you. But they're not going to talk to you about your food, and they're not going to talk to, and you know why? In a Cornell University, John Campbell verified that, and it's absolutely verified. They did the whole study and everything, and there's one university that might be up to 20%.
Yeah.
I think I hate to quote. I think it was Penn State that their
Good.
doctoral, their medical and your PhD that you get there as a primary physician. To be an actual doctor, there's only one college that actually has up to 20% nutrition education. So
Yeah.
they don't know. They
Modern
don't know
Western medicine treats symptoms. They
symptomology.
don't
Yeah.
treat the root of the disease, which is almost always lifestyle and nutrition.
Yep. Yep.
Now, there's some genetic things and all of that, but the
Always.
majority of what we deal with in our daily lives, as far as illnesses, are lifestyle and nutrition based.
Yep.
You know,
And there's some great people that I said I don't want to say met, but I sat through their lectures and things like that.
mhm.
And then they had guest speakers as well too. So they came in and stuff like that, and they have a medical practice, and they will have their patients will come in and they'll work with them to help them understand a lot. Now they go across the board, and I
Mhm.
said I don't need a PhD to launch a business.
Right.
I'm going to put this out there. Now they do the actual practice. I have an actual product.
Right.
And as far as a nutritionist, they're going to look at everything. They're going to look at, lettuce, and they're going to look at all the meats, and they're going to look at all the frozen, all this other stuff. Like we're not going to do a lot with French fries here. I mean, we might talk about them, but that there's nothing, no potatoes in any of the products, no apples, 0 apples. I have 0 apples. No apples are harmed in the
Yeah.
production of any of these products. Um, but just have them come on and talk, and they can verify that they
Mhm.
they do talk about this, and maybe what are they seeing? Do and I'm going to ask them, do you see the benefit out of these products that we're offering here? And what benefits do you see maybe that we don't even notice? And like I said, I'm just learning about all of this just within the past 6 months after 8 years, right?
Yeah.
Just learning why is it good for you? And that's a lot of like even in philosophy course, right, in college, always asking the whys, always
Mhm.
asking the why this, why that, right? So I did finally learn all that. So and I'm thrilled. I'm so thankful for you coming on today.
Oh, it's a
I know we
pleasure.
gotta go get some coffee refills here. Well, anything you want to say before we sign off here?
No, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of your podcast and to be a part of this process. You've kept me kind of in touch the whole 8 years, and um, it's been a blessing. And looking forward to the next 8 years.
Oh, I like that. I do like that, definitely. And we'll get Tony on here. You know what? I just had a thought. You know, it will be fun. The 3 of us doing a live podcast from Hawaii.
That would be fun.
Tony, Tony, we're looking at you, girl. But she I can't wait to get some feedback from her, find out when she's going to have time and have her come in here. It's so important to me to have her in here
Yeah.
and have you at the same time, right? So, well, let's get that coordinated. And I'll reach out to her and find out what's going on and
Sounds
see
good to
what we can
me.
do. All righty, kiddo.
All
Thank
right.
you, Mike, for coming on. Thank you, everybody. Again, you can go on and look at the beverages. As I said, I'm just getting the website up there. You can go to rafamaya.com. I'll put a post down. I'll pin a post down in the comments. I think I can pin a post. If not, you can find us. It's rafamaya.com, RAPHAMAYA.com. And I've got the first beverage out there. I have a gift box out there if you want the glass. And we'll be rolling out the rest of the products. Like I said, for the dragon wafers, I'm waiting on the finalization of the packaging on that. And then we'll be able to start shipping those out as well, too. So in the meantime, here it is. This is the beginning, Mike.
All righty.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.